Hey guys, welcome to the Fellow Yellows podcast. Today we are going to be talking about building good habits. Um, yeah, everybody's got them. So we wanted to show you guys or tell you guys our problems and how we plan to fix it and what we think will happen if we do fix them. So, Mikyla, you can go first.
Period. All right. So the number one thing for me is like my sleeping habits. That is a bad habit that I currently possess. I'm trying to make it a good one, but my second one is being on my phone. And then my third one is turning my homework on time this last semester. But yeah, what about you?
So, same as you, I have bad sleeping problems. Uh, Number two, I have kind of like the awkward relationship currently with food. And three, cleaning, specifically laundry. So, how will fixing these bad habits transform our life?
So I feel like in a lot of podcasts that I've listened to, kind of, just like throughout my life, I often hear the advice like, oh, like if you are sleeping bad, just be better. And like sometimes we don't all have the luxury to like have the resources to like create a proper, sleeping habit. Like, like a lot of them were like, oh, I struggle sleeping. I went and saw some like a sleep specialist. Like, I don't necessarily have that luxury right now. Like, that's expensive, a lot of time and like commitment, and I just don't have that at the moment. So it's hard for me to like listen to things like that. And then I'm like, well, I can't really take advice away. So I'm not trying to like self-diagnose myself, but I do think I suffer with something like insomnia. Maybe not exactly, but so that's why when I hear stuff like that, it's just hard for me to take advice. And I want to prioritize that and get better. But the way that I like to like combat this and how it can transform my life, like personally, is like, if I sleep more, I'm more productive the next day. If I'm like consistent with my sleep schedule, I feel a lot better like mentally and physically because I'm not as drained. So like ways that I found that can help this is just kind of creating a set time where I need to be in bed, even if I can't fall asleep, as long as I'm in bed, like no screen time, no nothing, just in my bed. So I try to aim for like at least 11 p.m. at night, but it often doesn't end up being like that. But that is something I'm attempting to do. So if I'm not falling asleep, it's fine. It's just I know creating this good habit will have a lot of, better benefits for me. So that's what I'm like trying to do. But yeah, what about you for like sleeping?
Yeah, so my previous job, I was working nights. So like sometimes I'd be
Mm.
getting home at like 11, 11:30, like at the latest. But I'd say on the normal, like regular schedule, like 10 at the latest. And I'd have to come home, shower. Sometimes I'd eat because I didn't get to eat like dinner.
Yeah.
And so I already had a bad relationship with food because I would like binge at night right before sleeping and then showering and then any homework I had to do, any studying I had to do. Because my class in the morning this previous semester was at 7:45 in the morning.
Girl, you had it rough. You had it rough.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days a week at 7:45. And there was like
Horrid.
no other option. So like I had to take that class. And good thing I had made a good friend in that class and we motivated each other to like try our best. But I was not getting enough sleep at all. It got so bad that on test day, I came to school 30 minutes late and I was wearing a Post Malone shirt with Adidas shorts and flip-flops.
Iconic.
And like I almost had to ask someone for a pencil because I left my pencil pouch on my desk at home or something. And good thing like the professor let me stay like even after class was done. I think he knew I was having it rough that
Aw.
day.
See, that's why we can like, professors sometimes they have their good moments where they like actually care and don't it's hard to expect every kid to show up that time in the morning, let alone for a test. So I'm like, I feel bad for you, homie. That seemed like a rough time.
Yeah. But, this summer, I have not been trying to fix that problem because I just recently quit my job or resigned, to start a new job.
Period.
And this time, I don't think I necessarily have to work late, but because it's so flexible with my school, I might have to work at night times. So it's like no different from my past schedule, except it was a fixed schedule in my previous job, and now it's kind of like I have to make my own schedule and figure it out that way. But it's gonna be a while. It takes a lot of time for me to kind of like get a schedule down
For
and be
sure.
comfortable with it because it's gonna be a lot this semester. Oh,
You
I'm
got
not
it.
looking forward to it.
We'll be
Oh,
your
but
biggest
I feel
cheerleaders.
like thank you. But I do feel like I'm off track. Well, oh, sleeping. Yes. Okay, so my plan is to get like 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Um, that way it'll improve my productivity throughout the day and I'll feel less tired over the course of my semester. So I have no choice. I have to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep. It does not matter.
Valid.
All right, the
Um,
next thing.
So yeah, my second thing was being on my phone and to like kind of set a scene or I don't know, to just for some background information. Like I have always been pretty good about my screen time. I feel like I do like work on my computer like most of the day. So because I'm on my computer working, I feel like when I come home, I'm not trying to like be on my phone, but I did recently download TikTok and my like phone usage went from 2 hours a day to like 4 to 8 hours a day, which is bad. Like that's double, triple the amount of time I was spending on my phone. And so I think like because TikTok is freaking addicting and the For You page is like so curated, it's insane. That's why I like found myself drawn to it. But then I'm also trying to like make some content for like our podcast like page. So I'm like at this predicament where I'm like, oh, I want to stay up with the trends, but then I'm also like, okay, I'm abusing TikTok. Like I'm using it not for work purposes. I'm using it for just pleasure, enjoyment. But what I'm trying to do to like transform this bad habit into a good one is to set time limits. And time limits is nice because it like makes your whole screen say like your time is up, and then you can say like 15 more minutes or, ignore this limit. And sometimes I catch myself ignoring that limit. I catch myself doing 15 minutes over and over again. So it's definitely become like kind of toxic for me. And I just noticed this like recently because I was off it for a while. So I'm not saying like I need to quit cold turkey, but I think I'm going to try to be more strict with the limits. Of course, easier said than done. Sometimes like it's a nice escape from reality for a little bit, but I think the best way forward is to be more consistent with limits. Like when I see that, I know just to turn my phone off and then put it down. So I think that's just what I'm trying to do for myself. So at the moment, I have like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, because those are the social medias I have, because I don't really count Pinterest personally. I have those all four apps. I only am giving myself 2 hours a day with that. So, like across all of them, only 2 hours a day. So, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, what for you for your second
Nice.
one?
So my second one was eating habits. So eating healthier and eating more frequently whenever I'm hungry instead of like, oh, I have to wait like 2 more hours for lunch or 2 more hours till or dinner, or I can't have a snack because I ate too much of this, I ate too much of that. Instead of like kind of thinking like that, I just want to like eat whatever I want to eat, but in moderation.
Mm,
And I think eating more frequently throughout the day will just like create a better relationship with food because like I think it's still possible to stay fit while eating whatever you want to eat as long as you eat less of it. And the more frequently you
mm.
eat throughout the day, the less you eat overall anyways.
That's
I
very
feel like
true.
because you could eat like a salad for lunch and then like you skip breakfast, right? And you eat a salad for lunch and like you're already starving by like 3 p.m. and you're about to eat lunch and say you go grocery shopping, but you go grocery shopping on an empty stomach and you're starving, and so your gluttonous mind just like buys everything off the shelves, and then by the time you get home, you cook like a bunch of pasta and you eat like the whole
All the
serving for
pasta.
eight. Yeah, and like it's just not good. I feel like unless you've made that a habit in your lifestyle for like 20 years, hint hint, it's not, sometimes it works for those people, but sometimes it doesn't work for others.
For sure. I think that's a really good point. Like you bring up like eating in moderation because sometimes, yeah, people like, let's say you eat lunch and then you're like, oh, I'm kind of hungry after lunch. And you're like, nah, I'll wait till dinner. Like sometimes it's nice to just eat like a little granola bar or like a pick me up because you need that
Yeah.
energy boost because that's what food does. It gives you like energy, right? So you have a very busy lifestyle. So I feel like that will be a good pattern for you, right? Like, oh, eat breakfast, but then let's say between breakfast and lunch, you like need a little snack while you're coding or something. Like it gives you that extra motivation, extra energy to pour into your work or school. So that'll be good.
Yeah,
I'm
and it,
excited for you.
thank you. And it could be like something healthy, like fruits
Yeah.
or like a celery stick and carrots or something, or cherry tomatoes and tahini. I don't know. I kind of like
Yum.
that.
That
And
sounds
like
good.
there's also like cognac jellies, which are like Korean jellies or Japanese jellies, and
Hmm.
they're supposed to help with, like there's so many benefits to it, but like it has collagen in it and like it makes
Yeah,
your skin look good and it fills your stomach so you can like curb your cravings. So if you wanted to look on like more of a diet perspective, you could try that. But
yeah,
I'm gonna try and not really diet, but just like be more less gluttonous. And I think what makes me the most gluttonous is when I wait hours at a time to eat for my next meal. Instead, when I could just eat like a handful of fruits and then for dinner, like, oh, I'm not that hungry, so I'll just eat like a smaller portion of whatever it is. I think
exactly.
it's just smarter and healthier that way. Some people might not see eye to eye with this, but whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
you got to
doing
do
me.
what's best for you. Like, of course, take everything with a grain of salt. Like, you're providing your experience and stuff. And I feel like maybe some people have like similar things as well, so they can use that. Because, at the end of the day, it's whatever works best for your body and for your lifestyle. So I think that'll be really cool for you, though.
Thank you. Okay, your third thing.
Oh yeah. So my third thing was doing homework on time, and I never had this problem until this semester because I took like 15 credits over the summer and I was working and they're accelerated even more than the accelerated classes I've been doing. So I feel like I was like very overwhelmed, but I was trying to keep everything under control. Luckily, I passed with good grades, but I think my main issue was like I always have this mentality like if I don't turn something in, it's the end of the world. But finally, I did let myself be like, oh, it's okay if I miss this homework assignment because I'm gonna get like a good grade on the test if I study. And so I feel like there needs to be a good, healthy balance between letting yourself like fall short in some aspects, but then also not letting yourself fall too short where you end up failing the class. But I did get really lazy. Like I will admit that. Like I got lazy and I did my assignments last minute. Sometimes like I just was trying to balance things in a way that I was prioritizing things over school. And I feel like that's my main focus. So I need to prioritize school a little bit better. So, like, that's a pretty bad habit I created this semester. So, going into the next semester, I'm going to have a little bit better, like prioritize school first over everything, over my personal life, over like work over, anything because I feel like that's my number one right now and I need to prioritize that and it'll help me because some people might not have school as a priority and that's totally cool, but for my life, I feel like that's where I'm at. But the best way I combat this is just floating rock mentality because I was really bummed that I missed out that assignment, but I'm like, I live on a floating rock. It's okay. But I just think it needs to be a healthy balance where you don't just use that mentality for everything. Like, oh, I'm going to skip this test or I'm going to fail this class because whatever. Like, I can't afford that. I can't afford to just fail a class personally. So I'm like, so just trying to transform that bad habit that I created this last semester. So we'll see how the fall goes.
That's a good thing. I feel maybe oh, how do I say this? So there are times when you can think about the floating rock, method, if you will. And there are times where you shouldn't think like that. And I think it depends on if it's something you can control, then definitely don't think about the floating rock.
Yeah,
But if you can, if it's out of your control and you're stressing over something, that's when you think, dude, I'm like a speck in the universe. It doesn't
exactly.
matter. You can't control it anyway, so there's no point in stressing over something or feeling anxious or getting worked up about something that's literally out of your control. Just let it go. And this is really
True.
hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe you just need to literally write it down in a notebook or something, or like type it out or say it like over and over and over again because I was struggling with this because of this new hiring process and I was scared that they're gonna rescind their offer letter or tell me like, oh, sorry, we ended up hiring someone else, like we moved on with the candidates. And I'm like, dude, I just put in my 2 weeks because you told me I was gonna get this job. Like, why? I was getting like, or
Stressed out
um,
over
yeah.
nothing.
And then this is like a co-op position, so I was like, am I, am I not good enough? Like, what if I'm not good enough and they don't like me and they're gonna tell me like, sorry, you can't work here anymore? Like, I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing yet, and I was already stressing, and that is just unnecessary to your mental and physical health. Just
For sure.
dance it out, play some awesome music, and just dance in your room or something to let those endorphins go and just be happy, be zen.
Exactly. Be zen. Like you don't have to be really high and happy and you don't have to be really low and negative. You can be that zen that's in the middle, which
Yes, I love
I'm like,
zen.
But yeah, what about you? What's your third thing?
Okay, when I'm stressed out or have a lot on my plate, I tend to abandon my chores. Like the beginning of the semester, like when the classes aren't doing too much, like it's like syllabus and like I'll read this chapter and then light reaction. And then like it's like February or something, it starts to pick up. Or not February, I guess I was thinking of like the spring semester. But like September it starts to kick up and it's like so like hard to like keep up with this new schedule, this new um environment because you're like moving from different classes, seeing different people, you're getting out of your comfort zone, it's stressing you out. You can't eat at a regular time because you're in classes, and then you gotta commute, and then you gotta pay for gas, then you have all these classes to pay for, books to pay for, deadlines to meet. Oh,
hmm
and then some of you have work to do. Like you have a job, you gotta meet those hours, you gotta go into work. You don't have time to cook for yourself, so you skip meals. Um,
It's a lot.
and then not to mention chores. Like, oh, I just dried my clothes, but I just let it sit in there for like 3 weeks and be like, oh, I was
It
supposed to fold that. And then you have to wash them again because they went stiff. It's just a long process. So,
is.
uh, I went a little crazy there. If
No,
I can
it's
keep
okay.
my
You're
chores
setting the
in
scene.
check, if I can keep my chores in check, even when I don't like it, like I know it's only going to take me 10 minutes to do, I should still do it even if I don't feel like it because it will make my life a lot easier in the long run because I won't have to dedicate a day or two to catch up on all my chores.
That's very
Because
true.
unfortunately, it's going to be like wasting a weekend when I could be having fun, playing video games or something, or going out. I don't know
Relaxing.
exactly. And now I'm stuck with doing chores. So
I
I
feel like a
think,
good way to like overcome that because a lot of times like you're saying like you'll dedicate an entire day to catch up because so much stuff was happening you didn't have time but sometimes that's annoying when you want to just chill. So I've seen people like even though you might have a dirty kitchen and you might have like to do your laundry, maybe just choose one of those things to do that week and then do it the next week. And some things might start piling on like while you do laundry you can also clean the kitchen type of thing. But I feel like if you just give yourself maybe 1 hour a week of just dedicated time to just like do whatever you need to do cleaning, that's cool. If you don't cross off everything on your list you needed to, just revisit it next week, right? Like it doesn't have to be a whole day. Cause I feel like that's how I get to. I'm like, oh, I got behind. I need to spend the whole day cleaning and I just wasted a whole day that I had off. So I feel like that could be helpful, possibly just an hour, like limiting it so it's not like too long, but it's not too short.
Yeah, that's good. That way it's like it kind of gives you motivation, like, oh, I did this. I could
Yeah,
do another thing. Um, I'd say my tip is to work on one thing at a time from like your bad habits that you want to fix. Because like working on all three or four or five, whatever you might have at once could be overwhelming and
sure.
it's there's a bigger chance that you're gonna give up. So if you worked on one thing and then you're successful in that and you don't have to worry about it so much anymore, that means you've created a good habit. Usually they say it takes 21 consecutive days to build a habit of doing something. So I had an idea. I think we should do like a little challenge to post on like your Instagram story of like you doing a thumbs up or like an emoji, and you tag our podcast at Fellow Yellows Podcast. And then you would like include the day that you were doing the challenge and yeah. So it'd be cool.
I like
I
that
don't know.
idea. I'm down to document that, and like Joe and I, we can even like kickstart it. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Um, and like maybe on our Instagram story, we can post us like doing, picking one thing that we're trying to target for, like our lifestyle, and then show every day how we're like doing better. Like if it was sleeping, I could be like, okay, guys, it's 10:30 and I'm got everything done and I'm going to bed now. Like something like that. And just every
Yeah.
day we can do a check-in for 21 days. It's a great idea, Joe.
Thank you. But this would actually require us to start. So uh when when this goes up on Tuesday, I think that's when we should start.
Yeah, I'm
Or
down.
at least the day after so you could post like, oh, we did a day, you know.
Okay, I'm down.
But yeah.
So this episode is going out August 15th, so maybe we could start that Wednesday the 16th.
That's perfect because that's when classes start for me. So that's a true start right there.
So
Um,
about September 5th is when 21 days should be over. So we should, come back and
all
say
right.
how it went. And hopefully some of you guys join us in this journey.
That'll be fun. Um, yeah, and hopefully we hope that by doing this challenge and whatever you wanted to fix, you'll see like a lifestyle change that's healthier and more rewarding to you instead of more of a hindrance.
Mhm.
That's what we're trying to target anyways, to kind of get rid of that. So yeah, building good habits. Do you have anything else to add, Mickey?
Nope. Just see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yes. Stick to the challenge. And yeah, it's at Fellow Yellows Podcast. That's with an S, not a Z.
Beautiful.